I'm standing here at the site of the future amphitheater for the city of Tuscaloosa. Most of you recognize this as the home of the baseball fields, which have now moved over to Sokol Park. We're excited about this project, which we hope will open around August 2010. What's unique about this site is its proximity to the river. But what's also disturbing is that it's actually an old landfill that the city fathers 40 years ago decided to put all the city's trash. But we're reclaiming it. We're going to make it better, and we're going to turn it into something that's going to be positive for the community. At this site is our goal to have a 6,000-seat amphitheater that'll be fully covered, that'll be able to bring in national acts as well as local artists, so that one night we can have the Tuscaloosa Symphony, children's theater, or a variety of other cultural arts events. But won't it also be nice on a Friday night before an Alabama football game to have Leonard Skinner or other major acts right here in Tuscaloosa? We believe that this site right here beside the river can be the catapult to really moving our riverfront forward.
Well, the current site where we're planning to build the amphitheater obviously was used as an old landfill, decades ago. I guess our forefathers at first thought that the river was our back door, and now it's going to be our front door again, like it used to be back when Tuscaloosa was first founded. The reason why the city was founded is because of this river and the economics that it supplied for the area, being able to get down to Mobile. So we think it's a neat place to be able to come back and reintroduce our river back to our community again. It's going to be a great place the whole community can gather.
Well, this council and mayor, the administration, we've been adamant about trying to involve the community as much as possible into all the decisions that we make. And the Community Task Force studying the feasibility of the amphitheater has just been one of those committees where we have ordinary citizens come in and sit on a committee, and they'll go out and do research and collect data and try to come back and give us their opinion of not whether it should be there, but how it should be situated. And they've done a great job, and they're in agreement with us that this is a doable project, and they were excited about serving on the committee, and we were excited to have them aboard to help us. We're not always capable of doing everything we need to do without some outside help. So the task force has done a wonderful job bringing back their suggestions. We've tried to incorporate them and make this project one that everybody can be proud of.
Understanding the challenges of this site, and based on the preliminary design, the stage is going to sit right beside me with the 6,000 seats coming out southeast towards Jack Warner Parkway. The 6,000 fixed seating is important to attract more national artists. It'll also be able to expand our concession sales and other sales which are vital in making the amphitheater fiscally sound. It is our goal that this amphitheater not detract from our general fund. How did we make this happen? We did it through the lodging tax. A couple years ago, we discovered that people from Tuscaloosa, when they went to go stay in Birmingham or Huntsville or Mobile, were paying 2% more for their lodging tax. We didn't think this was fair. A couple years ago, the City Council increased its lodging tax to go along with other major cities here in Alabama. But our council did something unique. They set aside that 2% for the construction of an amphitheater, farmers market, and new convention and visitors bureau. It is that 2% that it will pay the debt service to construct this amphitheater. This amphitheater is going to be first class. It's going to be something that this community can truly be proud of. A core belief for our community is the revitalization of West Tuscaloosa. Another great benefit of this amphitheater is what it's going to do for West Tuscaloosa in terms of economic development, infrastructure improvement. Behind me you see the old train trestle, which for years has narrowed down as Jack Warner Parkway merged into Martin Luther King Boulevard. As part of our long-term plan, Jack Warner Parkway will be expanded, so that trestle will be expanded, which means that commercial growth, which will naturally happen around this amphitheater, will begin to take place in West Tuscaloosa. One of the great benefits of this amphitheater is that it's going to draw hundreds of thousands of people a year down to the riverfront. They're going to want to shop, they're going to eat, and they're going to spend their money on something dealing with quality of life. West Tuscaloosa can benefit from this. This is another reason why this site was chosen. Great land beside the river that can accelerate the growth of West Tuscaloosa.
And Western Tuscaloosa obviously is extremely important to the whole community. There's been a lot of revitalization in this past administration, and this is another major project obviously on the western part of town that's going to continue to, I think, drive economics in the positive direction. And obviously the better West Tuscaloosa does, the better downtown does, the better the riverfront does. So, everybody rises with the tide. So this project will definitely improve the western central part of Tuscaloosa.
our residents in District 1 and West Tuscaloosa will be able to come down, access the river, enjoy the beautiful scenery. We have the Bama Bell here now. We're going to have the amphitheater. We got the river walk that goes from McFarland Boulevard all the way over to the Country Club. And with the amphitheater being there to have activities, choral activities, seasonal activities, and other things going on, it's going to bring people into District 1 and allow the residents of District 1 to come out on a good day and enjoy festivities that they normally would not have. So it's going to be a great infusion to District 1 in West Tuscaloosa.
What we determined was this. We needed an amphitheater that could host national artists, as well as our own local artists. We also need a facility that can continue our efforts to revitalize West Tuscaloosa. And to do this, it would need to have a minimum of 6,000 fixed seats. And the last thing we needed in terms of infrastructure was a stage that could be built for the future. So as we expand the facility over time, the lighting, the sound, the television screens will all be in place for those future expansions. As we talked about, this site presents many challenges. It was once a landfill, and so we have to mitigate the garbage. It also has drainage issues, which also must be addressed during construction. It was important that the city find the right architect to design the right amphitheater for Tuscaloosa. We went through a very public process, sending RFPs across the United States to architectural firms who had the abilities to construct an amphitheater. We went through an interview process and narrowed it down to 5. At the end of the day, there was one firm that stood above the rest, and that was Davis Architects from Birmingham, Alabama. So why Davis Architects? They have the most experience of any firm that we interviewed with substructure. We can see their work right here in Tuscaloosa with the expansion of the northern end zone at Bryant-Denny Stadium. We needed an architectural firm that can provide the correct numbers, the correct expertise, so you can get the most bang out of your buck, and that we can build an amphitheater that's truly going to improve the quality of life right here on our riverfront. Most importantly, our work revealed that this amphitheater must be the centerpiece of our riverfront and be the home for the cultural arts and a beacon for improving the quality of life right here in Tuscaloosa. I know what some of you are thinking. You're concerned about the noise from the Hugh Thomas Bridge or the railroad trestle. I'd invite you to go one day and sit in the middle of the property and see how much noise you really hear. Based on the acoustics testing that's been done, we should have sufficient sound within the amphitheater itself to alleviate those concerns. The past 7 months also revealed a lot about the future of our Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau. We want it to be a destination point, and to be that, it needs to be on our riverfront. So we have found a suitable site near the Corps of Engineers property. This will make it stand alone from the amphitheater, but yet be connected with our riverfront. The new home for our Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau will be located at the eastern edge of the Corps of Engineers site. It's going to be located here, right in this 12,000 square foot warehouse that the Corps of Engineers is conveying to the city of Tuscaloosa. This will save us nearly $1 million in construction cost. Better yet, our riverfront trail is going to run directly in front of the Corps of Engineer property, so that you'll be able to access the Farmers Market or the Convention and Visitors Bureau through our riverfront network trails. We are standing on the eastern edge of the Corps of Engineers property. We're also standing on the future home of the new Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau. Over here is a 12,000 square foot warehouse that the Corps of Engineers is deeding over to the city of Tuscaloosa. This will greatly expand the current farmers market. Embedded inside this 12,000 square foot warehouse will also be the new home of our Convention and Visitors Bureau, so that we can continue to attract tourists here to Tuscaloosa. And what better place to do that than bringing them right here to our riverfront. Thanks to the Corps of Engineers, we are going to save nearly $1 million in construction by taking over this warehouse. Another unique feature is look where you are. You're right beside the river. Imagine buying goods and produce right here on our riverfront. And the riverfront trail will extend directly behind me and continue over down the McCorvey Drive. Again, we are building a first-class riverwalk from the amphitheater down to the University of Alabama. We are building a riverfront where you can walk as long as you like to and enjoy the natural beauty of Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa, it means Black Warrior. That's what it means. And we're in the Black Warrior Tongue-Bibby waterway. And if it wouldn't have been for this waterway, we probably wouldn't be here right now. Our area was very centrally located. It was the booming town of the state of Alabama. That's why the capital was here for over 25 years before it was moved to Montgomery, because this is where the economic center was in the state. This is where trade happened, where they took all the goods down to Mobile from here. Obviously the 17 locks that were built over a period of time, then narrowed down to 7 locks in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s. I mean, created what we have now, which is a commerce river, but yet also what we're trying to do in Tuscaloosa is turn it into an attraction as well for commercial, residential, recreation. People like to be close to water, and we've got a beautiful river here. It's very clean, and it's a wonderful piece to our community.
The two questions we get asked most often about building the amphitheater, farmers market, and the new Convention Visitors Bureau is, number one, when are you going to build it? And number two, how are you going to pay for it? Those are great questions. So let's spend the next few minutes talking about these very issues. The total cost of these projects is $14.8 million. This will include every aspect of construction, design, and engineering. We plan on taking $800,000 in cash in fiscal year 2009, followed by a bond issue of $14 million that will begin in fiscal year 2010. The cost of the amphitheater itself will be $13 million. And again, this will take us from design to engineering to construction. It is likely that we'll have $11 million when it's all said and done that will actually go into the construction cost itself. For the Farmers Market and Convention Visitors Bureau, we're budgeting $1.8 million to take us through the course of the entire project. For the amphitheater, from October 2008 to August 2008, we will contract with an architect, we'll initiate preliminary design, and we'll begin selecting an investment banker to go issue bonds in New York. From October 2008 to March 2009, we'll issue bonds for construction and services for this project, and we'll also complete preliminary and then final design. From March 2009 to June 2009, we'll advertise and award bids and begin construction. By August 2010, we should be ready to open our new amphitheater right there on the riverfront. The Farmers Market and the Convention and Visitors Bureau have a very similar construction schedule. From August 2008 to October 2008, we'll begin preliminary design of the project after we have selected an architect. From October 2008 to January 2009, we'll complete preliminary designs and we'll issue bonds for the construction of this project. It is here that our timetable begins to differ with the construction of the amphitheater. First, we must receive clearance from the Corps of Engineers to commence construction. We're working on their timetable. The Farmers Market or the TCVB cannot begin until they have cleared their property. So for this to happen, we're going to be on the Corps of Engineers time schedule. Hopefully, between this time frame of January 2009 and October 2009, we can complete the final design and also begin construction of Riverwalk Phase 3, which will run adjacent to the new Convention and Visitors Bureau and Farmers Market. As we move forward with this project, one of the key components we must look at is how we connect the new amphitheater with the new farmers market. And of course, the best way to do that is through our riverfront trails. Right now, I'm standing about 100 feet from where the riverfront trail ends, right near the Corps of Engineers. For the past 2 years, the city has been working with the Corps in relocating them to Joe Malisham Parkway, and for the city obtaining easements to extend our riverfront trail and to build a new farmers market. When this is completed, sometime around 2010, we will have a riverfront where you can park at the amphitheater, walk down to the riverfront, and enjoy any of the events that either one of those facilities are having. It'll also extend our riverfront trail another mile, which is so important to the quality of life of this community. We are slowly building a riverfront network that soon will compete with cities like Chattanooga and San Antonio. We're working towards that goal every single day. And by 2010, with a new amphitheater and a new farmers market, we're truly going to have a riverfront where you can live, work, and definitely play. The city is working extremely hard to build a great relationship with the Corps of Engineers, and this relationship is paying off. Over the next few years, the buildings behind me will slowly be replaced with restaurants and shops, and our riverfront trail will be expanded. And on the far eastern end of this piece of property will be the new home of the farmers market, an expanded farmers market with more goods and more services so that we can continue to attract people to our riverfront.
We're looking forward to having a stepped up farmers market really right here on the banks of the Black Warrior River. And in my opinion, if done like we plan it to be done, will be one of the finest farmers markets in the Southeast, along with this amphitheater as well.
From connecting the amphitheater to having a farmers market, We are building a riverfront trail that's going to be first class. It's going to be able to compete with anyone across the nation. It is during this time frame, once we receive the clearance from the Corps of Engineers, that we hope to commence construction on a new Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau. If all goes as planned, we should open up a new Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau by October 2010.
We have a lot of great destinations here in Tuscaloosa. We have 3 colleges, the river, museums, world-renowned art collection. We got so many things that people want to see. We may not realize it. So we could tap into that opportunity and put that 2% tax increase, get our amenities funded that way and not tax our citizens. We have a great opportunity.
Since the lodging tax is taking care of the debt service, the true financial concern for the city of Tuscaloosa is the general operations. Clearly, the city's not set up to run an amphitheater, so we turn to the professionals. And in this case, the professionals were Red Mountain Entertainment out of Birmingham, Alabama. Red Mountain Entertainment has over 20 years of experience in the amphitheater business. If you go down to Orange Beach, you will see the wharf. The wharf is currently being operated and maintained by Red Mountain Entertainment. Their experience also extends to Pelham, Alabama, where for 14 years they constructed, owned, and operated the Oak Mountain Amphitheater. The city is proud to be engaging in a contract to have Red Mountain Entertainment run the operations of our amphitheater. So what will Red Mountain Entertainment do? They will book the performances, they'll promote the performances, they'll maintain the facility, and they'll help us in selling naming rights, concessions, parking, and all those other things that you need to keep your amphitheater financially healthy. It's important to note that Red Mountain's money will not come from the lodging tax. They only make their money if the amphitheater is financially successful. Therefore, they have a profit-driven motive to make sure that our amphitheater works. On the screen, you see a conceptual drawing of what our amphitheater may look like. There are many challenges with this site, but our amphitheater will be first class. Again, we need a 6,000-seat facility that can host not only national acts, but local acts as well. When determining an architect for our amphitheater, we needed a national firm that understood what it would take with substructure to make the amphitheater work. However, we have a better situation with our Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am proud to announce that Mike Ellis and Associates will be the local architects for the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Farmers Market. Mike and his staff do a wonderful job, and they're going to bring innovation and expertise in making that a destination point right there on our riverfront.
This river is an extremely large asset to the Tuscaloosa community. I would say that this river and Lake Tuscaloosa are the biggest assets to this community. We don't have water issues in Tuscaloosa, whether it be drinking water or obviously barge traffic, transportation. It's just a great asset, and I think for the city and the people of our city to be able to live, work, and play in our community along our riverfront is something that we all envision growing into the future.
Besides the Tuscaloosa Pre-K initiative, this has been the most exciting project we have worked on during my first 4 years in office. I am glad we could spend a few minutes talking about this great quality of life initiative that's truly going to transform our riverfront. Let's review just a few of the important facts. This total project will cost $14.8 million, $13 million of that for the amphitheater, and $1.8 million for the new Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau. The total cost of construction will be paid for with our 2% lodging tax. Any surpluses that are generated from the lodging tax will go to help subsidize local acts so they can perform there along with the national acts. And it'll also go to make up any operational shortfalls or used with maintenance money to make sure that our amphitheater stays first class over the next 30 years. As part of my recommendation, I'm recommending to the City Council that we create the Amphitheater Fund. This fund will make sure that all proceeds from the 2% lodging tax and any profits generated from the amphitheater stay with those projects themselves. It's important that this not become a future slush fund for politicians to raid whenever there might be economic troubles. This is a quality of life initiative, and it deserves the support not only of this council, but for councils to come. For professional services, I am recommending Davis Architects out of Birmingham to design our new amphitheater. I'm also recommending Red Mountain Entertainment to operate our amphitheater so that we can get it off the ground and become one of the most dynamic amphitheaters in Alabama. In terms of the Farmers Market and Convention and Visitors Bureau, I'm recommending Mike Ellis to be our local architect to make those first-class facilities. My final recommendation is Louis Cardinal to be our investment banker. Louis works with Thornton Farish, and he has worked with the city closely as we've built one of the lowest debt per capita in the state of Alabama. In fact, just a couple years ago, we got the highest rating upgrade of any city in Alabama. Louis understands how important that is to this community, and I'm excited to have Louis joining our team in building a first-class amphitheater.
As your official city representative, it's my job to do everything I can to enhance the quality of life for the people of my district. We have a great council, a great mayor, and a great staff at City Hall and all of our employees, and we're all trying to do something for West Tuscaloosa. The mayor, one of his core values is to do something for an area that has been systematically neglected, West Tuscaloosa that is. And I've been an advocate for all of the resources that I could possibly get. We're striving to find other areas in West Tuscaloosa that we can do things with to bring it back up. It's one of the older areas in town, but we're proud of it. And I just want to encourage all the people of District 1 and District 2, West Tuscaloosa as a whole, I want to encourage you, this is our city. This is our council and mayor. This is our Riverwalk. This is going to be our amphitheater. Please, let's get excited about it and enjoy it. Prepare to tell our family, friends, loved ones that in a year or so when you come into town, you're going to be able to go down and tour the Riverwalk, the amphitheater, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and just enjoy our city. We're looking forward to it.
I've been doing this job 11 years now, and one of the passions and the reason why I know that I'm serving is because I believed that this riverfront area could become something that it was not 10 or 11 years ago, and through a lot of help from many people in the community, we've been able to get a long way along that dream. And it's just very exciting to work with a progressive mayor, to work with a progressive city council who, yeah, we disagree, but we see the long-term vision of our community and how we can benefit the whole community if we work together. This riverfront and this downtown resurgence and revitalization, along with what Dr. Witt's doing on campus, everything seems to be beaten to the same drum, which is progress, and progress for everybody within the community, whether it's the west side of town, east side of town, central city, north, south, whatever it may be. So everybody seems to be working together to move Tuscaloosa forward, and if we continue with that attitude, there's no telling how far we can go.
These are the days for Tuscaloosa. As you've seen over the past few minutes, our amphitheater, Riverfront Farmers Market, and Convention and Visitors Bureau are going to be a new dynamic along the Black Warrior River. Not only are these projects going to improve the quality of life, they are going to be the crown jewel of our riverfront. Bringing economic development, improving the quality of life is a responsibility I take seriously, but by far my greatest responsibility is ensuring that every neighborhood remains safe. In April, longtime Chief Ken Swindle retired, and it fell upon me to find a suitable replacement. I am happy to report to you that we have selected Chief Steve Anderson to lead our Tuscaloosa Police Department. Chief Anderson has the experience, the knowledge, and the operational skill to take our police department to the next level.
Now, I realize there's some difficult days ahead. I understand that there are going to be some challenges and some obstacles that I'm going to have to overcome. But my faith in God will guide me. The support of the men and women of the police department out behind you and off to the right will be there. And their support and encouragement will also guide me. And also the support of the community. It will guide me and help me in making it through these difficult times. In closing, I'd like to just say thank you for coming. I look forward to working with you all. My door is always open. If there's anything that I can do for any of you, please don't hesitate to contact me and ask.
In an effort to move the police department forward, there are three key things that I want to do. One is decentralize the police department and make better utilization of the precincts and substations that we have. And by decentralizing the police department, that's going to put more officers out there in the communities that they're policing. Another thing that I'm interested in is the recruitment and diversification of the police department. We have a very diverse community here in Tuscaloosa, and our department needs to be more reflective of the community that we serve. Currently, our minority officers and females make up a very small portion of the ranks of the men and women who serve the citizens of this community. The Hispanic community in a lot of law enforcement agencies has been overlooked, but they're victimized quite a bit as far as crime goes. And one of the things that I want to do is I want to reach out to the community and let them know that we care about them and that we're not necessarily as interested in their immigration status as we are about keeping them from becoming victims of crime. The third thing that I like to do is start a law enforcement academy for civilians. And the reason that I'm interested in doing that is because it's going to bring the police department and the citizens of this community together at positive times. In utilizing our technology, what we're planning to do is start mapping more of our crimes on computer-generated maps so that we can track and look at trends of crime and where crimes are happening, and then we can use that information to better address some of the problems that we're having in our communities. I like people to know that I believe in treating people fairly and that I believe in doing what's right. I want the citizens of this community to know that I have an open door policy. Any questions or concerns that they have, they can contact me, and that I'm going to be open to listening to those questions and concerns and resolving whatever issues they have in a fair and consistent manner, and that we're dedicated to serving and protecting the citizens of this community and making this community as safe as possible for them and their families.
3 years ago, when you gave me the honor of being your mayor, we pledged to do things just a little bit differently, to make the winds of change really happen here in Tuscaloosa. This amphitheater project can do just that. It's going to grow our riverfront. It's going to be a destination point for tourists, and it's really going to improve the quality of life. We're proud of this project and what it can do for the people of Tuscaloosa. Over the past few minutes, you have seen how we plan to build it, how we plan to fund it, and how we plan to make it successful. But this is your project. It's the People's River. So hopefully, if you would like more information, you'll feel free to call us. And you can do that by calling 311 or go to our website at www.tuscaloosa.com. Together, we are building that bridge to the future. A bridge that means that every child that's academically at risk will have an opportunity for a brighter future. A bridge that means economic prosperity is open to all, regardless of who you are or where you live. And a bridge that extends to our riverfront, that ensures that we can indeed improve the overall quality of life. The stage is actually going to sit right. Can I start all over? That's it. I'm close to getting it. I feel great about that. Behind me, in the next few years, let's start all over again. No, I'm good. Let's roll. Expanded goods, which will really make a riverfront explode.
Talking about exploding riverfronts.
You could superimpose explosions, and that was going to be perfect.
I know it.
But also be a venue where we could host local artists so that we could the projected, I'm hearing those sirens. We'll have selected, from March 2009 to June.
You starting over? Or
No, we're going to New.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Come on, follow the timetable. We will advertise and award bids for the construction of the amphitheater. We will also begin something that I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
You're laughing.
It's the...
As you can see from this chart, over the past 10 years, well actually you can't see from this chart. This is a great sign. It shows that our amphitheater will not only be fiscally healthy into year, I'm going to get it now. This is a great shine. Okay, let's go again. 3 years ago, you asked me to change the way city government worked.
And there you are doing it, right?
Yeah, and you're calling. Thank you. Been working on it. See, sometimes I like to pause. Oh, I need to work on that. Oh, recognized. 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 Let's recognize the gentleman from South Carolina. You are so recognized. Let's start all over again. Let me start all over again. From the top.
All right, take 3.
This is the net surplus. Let me start all over and explaining this again. There's no easy way to explain this chart. I think you'll find the next couple minutes very interesting. Behind me is a conceptual design of what of our You know what? When I mess up, I go into a train wreck. It's like behind me. I love you, Mama. Love you.